Welcome to the AI Applications Podcast. I'm your host, Greg Helmstetter. If you've built an app that uses AI and you'd like to talk about it on the podcast, shoot me an email at greg@latentspaces.ai. I had a little mishap with the microphone during the interview coming up in a moment, so if it sounds like I sound a little strange, that's why. My guest today is Dan Yan, creator of ResumeFromSpace, an AI-based online resume builder. Good afternoon, Dan. How are you today?
Great. How are you?
Good, thank you. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what gave you the idea to build ResumeFromSpace?
Sure. So hi everyone once again. My name is Dan. I'm a technical lead actually at Cigna, but I'm a really big app enthusiast. So software development was and is my passion. The idea for ResumeFromSpace actually came up when I was applying for jobs. So the existing websites that I tried, they were kind of outdated, and I feel like very clunky. So basically, that's when idea came to me, and I'm like, I want to build something that is really easy to use. And being that I'm a front end developer, but my specialty is UX, right? I like to build really useful and easy to use UXs for users. So I thought it's got to be another way, right? So yep, that's where I am. But yeah, I'm a technical lead at Cigna.
What does that mean exactly? Technical lead.
Technical lead, it's basically means you have much more meetings and much less coding. But honestly, I was at the point where I need to go up a little bit in the seniority. My personal experience, I would love to code and do nothing else, but now I'm more like a meeting based. I assign tasks to my team. I know how the internal processes work in my company, so that makes me in a sense I spend less time coding and more time what's the word basically passing my tasks to other developer.
When you were coding, what kind of coding were you doing and what languages?
Honestly, different tasks. My main stack is React, right? And I'm an expert. I would say delegating. That's the word I was looking for. The previous thing, delegating. My main stack is React, right? But I love everything JavaScript. Basically, I use Node.js in my personal projects. And unfortunately, on my main job, basically it's a JavaScript backend and Java backend, sorry, and I can't do anything about it because it's just like I don't have time to learn the technology. But in my day-to-day job, everything related to JavaScript, and that includes something that I'm really proud of is basically migrating my existing project to micro frontend. That was a big job, and that made our releases much more flexible and easier.
When did you first start getting interested in AI?
Okay, that's a great question. And sorry, I'm a little bit nervous.
Oh,
It's my
that's
first
okay.
interview. So you know what? It actually came up very unexpectedly. I released my application, the ResumeFromSpace, in 2023. It was November. And it was released on Reddit and on WebDev subreddit, one of my favorites. And one of the guys actually...
I'm sorry, did it have AI at that point, or did you add AI to it later?
No. At this point, it wasn't even remotely AI. Basically, it was just a very nice, neat resume builder. And what happened is one of the users actually said, hey, what about ATS? And I'm like, what is ATS? And he's like, it's an applicant tracking system. And it's something that you should probably look into it. And I'm like, okay. I did a little bit of research, and I figured out that ATS is actually a big part of resume screening now, right? And I was thinking of a system, how to create an ATS. Basically, ATS extracts the keywords and phrases and then matches it to your resume. So basically, if job description has this tech stack, it actually looks for it in your resume. And when it has the match, it's good, right? So I wanted to go traditional way, right? So basically doing extracting algorithm, then count the words in the resume, see the matches, calculate the percentage. But then I'm like, okay, let me give AI a shot, right? And maybe it's like 2-3 weeks after I release it, so it's still November 2023. And as I started to go deep into AI, and honestly, it was on my mind for a long time. I need to go out. I need to start something with AI, right? And it just clicked. Honestly, I love the idea of AI. Basically, it's like a natural language processor, right? That's what it is, NLP. And when I talked to it, first it was a GPT-4, I think GPT 3.5, then GPT-4. And first it was like a student, right, who is like in CS major, and he gives you tips. But now it's just a professor sitting next to you. And yeah, I started digging more and more, and basically it came up, it came naturally. And in fact, I figured out, I mean, I learned AI so much that the project at my current work, at my big company, it's AI based. We have a chat for customer support, and it's actually the project that I lead now because of all my knowledge I gathered in the last year.
Now, is that you're talking about LLMs, or was there traditional machine learning sort of AI prior to that in your job
So
at all?
So yeah, basically AI is a big part of everything that's happening, and LLM is a part of it, as you said. Yes. So LLM is what I use for Resume from Space. It's a large language model. I'll be honest, I was a big fan of OpenAI, but OpenAI is a little bit how to say, it's not as strict as Anthropic. I use Anthropic Sonnet 3.5 right now, and I feel those guys they have a really good balance between like being extremely unpredicted and extremely like strict, serious, right? So you want to have this golden middle. You want it to be fact based, right? But you still want it to have some kind of imagination to give you a really interesting content.
Now you can tune the temperature as a hyperparameter, right?
Yes.
To get certain whether more creative or more accuracy. That is part of Claude's API. Yes.
Correct. But in there's one technical term called hallucination, and you definitely heard about it. Now, ChatGPT hallucinate way more. When Anthropic doesn't know the answer, it most probably will tell you, "Hey, I don't know the answer." Well, ChatGPT will give you the answer out of thin
It
air.
just makes it up, and
Yeah,
it does it kind of convincingly. It's very confident in its wrong answers.
exactly.
That's really interesting. And what was this the acronym you said about the this format for doing the keyword matching with resumes? AT, what was it?
It's ATS. So it translates to applicant tracking system. So what it does, how it works now with the large companies, I mean, when you send in your resume, it actually extracts this resume text, right, content, then it scans it, passes it through the ATS, and says, okay, you know what, this guy doesn't match job description as much as we want to. And that's why it basically, like the real recruiter never sees your resume, right? The real person never sees your resume, just being discarded on the, yeah, on the like filtering stage, I call it. And the good score is 70%. And why I know it, I have a I have a friend who is an HR manager, right? And I actually worked with her a little bit, and she uses my tool. And she said, like, don't overdo it, of course. Like over 90, it seems suspicious. 70 and lower, it's basically it will be discarded. So 70 to 90 is where your golden middle is.
That's interesting because I actually have been talking to other people who are engineers who had been laid off from FANG companies and stuff like that. A lot of people are kind of looking for jobs right now in tech, and there seems to be this common they describe this process as a bit of a horror show, somewhere like a few steps worse than online dating, with the filtering, swipe left, swipe right kind of thing. And I think a lot of it comes from this ATS filtering process where it encourages, my understanding is it incentivizes people to kind of do what amounts to like keyword stuffing of their resumes with terms, just trying to, like if you have anything non-traditional in your background at all, like you need to find the right language that's going to make it through these filters. And does your application help with that process? Change your resume so that it's more likely to not get weeded out by the filters?
Yes. So basically, what it does, and I always emphasizes, like AI helps you, but you need still to guide it, and most importantly, you need to humanize it. That's the term I use. Basically, make sure the computer will give you a good version, but again, it's going to be unreadable for a human, right? It's not going to be unreadable. It's definitely going to be readable, but just a couple tweaks, just a couple words that you need to change, and then it becomes so much more easy to read for a person, right? Resume from Space does that, but again, it has a little bit of like a tweak tool. We have a job matching tool. Basically, you just use your resume and then you paste the job description. What it does, it basically brings you to the 70 to 90% level of match, but still keeping it humanly readable, I call it. Right.
Got it.
And then I suggest, hey guys, do not rely 100% on AI. Go ahead and check what's going on there. What is the text that it gave you? And only when you're satisfied, just hit that save button and send that resume.
Now, this ATS technology, that's been around for a while, I assume. And prior to modern LLMs, do you think on the recruiting side that the software is going to get kind of smarter in terms of using LLMs to find more like semantic matching with people, what they say in their resume, as opposed to exact keyword matching?
It's a cat and mouse game, right? And again, we started doing it only because the company started doing it, right? And before, I still prefer human to human contact. And but again, it's a name of the game, right? If you don't use it, you will probably get left behind. And I did a little social experiment. Although I have a job, I started to apply, and I created two types of resume. And actually, I wanted to put it in my blog. I just don't have time for it. And one resume was for John Taylor, and I tailored each each resume to job description before applying. And the other guy was just I created the fake name as well, but something not Taylor. And basically, the response rate was crazy. I think John Taylor got 5 or 7 times more responses.
Wow.
So it actually works. And then I was actually asking my users, hey, does it work? And yes, they say like we're getting from 1 to 2 interviews to probably 7 to 10. And it's like a big companies, like Google, Alphabet, all the FANG company, they use ATS now, it looks like. And to answer your question, yes, I think the algorithm will improve and will improve with it. Again, I'm monitoring this using my friend who's in HRA, and whatever changes, she just tells me because it's in her best interest because she uses my tool.
So can you walk us through the app? And you can just describe like the whole thing. What's it about? Why should people use it? And what does it do for them?
So basically, and again, it changed a lot since I launched it. Before, it was just a resume. Right away, you start typing your stuff. But I figured, and it was just one template in the beginning, right? And a template is ATS optimized. That's the word, right? What it means also. So basically, ATS wants your information in a specific order. Basically, it wants the name, then what's a summary, experience, education, and then the skills. And that's exactly the good way. And I only wanted the ATS optimized template. So I just started with one, and it's been like that for maybe a month. So now when you start a resume, I actually added a couple more. So now we have, I believe, 8 options to start with. Some of them are a little bit colorful. And I tell people, if you personally hand over your resume, that's probably a good thing to use. But if you applying online, then use something strict, right? So it's my 16 months old. So
No
right as you start the resume, basically I want it to be seamless, right? So when you click on the template, right away you're in the resume builder, and that's it. That's the only window you have. As I said, I want it to be really easy to use, and those old resume builders, they have so many options, and you don't even know where to click, right? With mine, I said, okay, I want it to be one screen. It's through SPA, single page application, right? And I want it to be as how to say it has to have as many options, but still be usable. I don't want to overload it with information because I'm a UX designer. I know the design fatigue is real. People don't know where to click, so that's what it is. I think a couple months ago I introduced the tour. So basically, when you arrive on a page, it's a tour and says, "Hey, do you want to talk about like main features. And the big part of it is import. And I think 90% of my users are using the import button. Basically, what they do, they import their previous resume, and it's scanned. What I like, it's scanned basically on their before their eyes, so they can see right away the text starting to appear on the screen. I use the AI for that as well. So basically, I feed the information to LLM, and I have some specific instructions to extract the information that I need, right? If everything looks good, people usually click OK, and that's the starting point. At this point, they can do two things. They can add the sections, let's say summary, if they don't have it. And again, you click on the summary, you click on generate text, and it generates you a really, really quick summary based on your previously entered information, right? And again, there's a rewrite button, and I highly recommend it. So you can go inside and you can make it more professional, make it shorter, make it longer, all kinds of stuff. And again, this is AI, and please always check what it's giving you. I mean, we're only humans, right? Check it, make sure you like it, make sure it's you, right? It needs to sound you. That's my main focus. All right. Then, of course, I put some emphasis on the designing. So you can select fonts, you can select colors, you can select templates, adding the work experience, adding the projects. Maybe you have some skills, languages, anything you want. To be honest, those sections were added one by one because I was getting the feedback from users. Hey, can you add the projects? Because I don't have the experience, so I only have projects. Okay, why not? So that's truly a build in public project. I still receive a lot of feedback. And the last part, again, if it's something that you do once, right, you just need resume for one job, then you just print it or you download it and you're good to go. But I recommend doing the tailoring, which basically tailors your resume to job description. You click on that little button, you paste the job description, and just one click of a button, it actually creates a new version of your resume. And that's what I recommend. So if you apply for 10 companies, just create 10 versions, right? And it saves all 10 of those. And if you got the interview, you can go back and say, okay, this is what I sent.
What format does it save those as?
So PDF and Microsoft Word. Those are the most popular ones, yeah.
How did you come up with the name? Resume from Space is such a cool name. I don't know how anyone would have ever thought of that.
And actually, the whole idea, and if you read my Reddit post, I like the space theme, right? I'm a science guy. I like the space theme. I like everything related to space. And my first baby just arrived. And I was like browsing. I used this website called Envato Elements, right? And I was looking for inspiration. I saw this cute little astronaut, right? And it was like, I'm like, okay, that's got to be my mascot, right? And he looked exactly like my 6 months old, right? He was like so round and puffy, so cute. And I'm like, okay, this is what it's going to be. So it's got to be something from space. And again, space, something short is always taken now. Now it's hard to come with domain, and I said, you know what? I still want the .com domain. Maybe I'm an old school, but it just feels good to have a .com domain. And you know what? There was one article that I read, and Google has one company called Lighter Than Air. And what they do, they actually create aircrafts that are lighter than air. Those huge zeppelins. That's what they do. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, lighter than air. This is actually 3 words, but still, it sounds so good. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Resume from Space. And it just clicks. And it was available.
Awesome. Is it just you building the app, or do you have people that you work with?
Well, mostly just me, developer, just me. I have some people helping me with marketing because I'm a total noob in marketing. And by marketing, I mean like TikTok videos and instructional videos. But it's mostly me. My wife helps with the testing. She's a QA engineer. And
that's convenient.
It's a one family effort.
When did you first launch the app?
Reddit. The web dev subreddit, and please don't spam it, guys, because we have a special day, Saturdays, right, when you can go, and it's called Show Off Saturday. So what you do there, you actually show your project, right? And at first, the Resume from Space was free, and it's actually free for the first, I think, like 500 users, I still keep it free. And that was my intention. I wanted to keep it free. But I'm not sure if you're going to ask about it. But honestly, when it when it hit about, I think, $1,000 a month of my expenses, I said, you know what, I cannot keep up, because and user base was around, I think, 5 or 7 thousand at this point, and it's mostly for the AI, because AI credits, they cost a lot. So I say, okay, I need some sustainable system. And that's why I apologized. I said, sorry, guys, but I need to put it behind the paywall. It's just not sustainable. You know what? I think 80% of the people instantly said, okay, you know what? We'll just support it.
So when was this? When did you launch?
It was November 2023. I don't exactly remember the date. Yeah.
Okay. And so you got your first users through Reddit, and then did it spread beyond that, or is it still primarily people coming from Reddit?
I got my first users on Reddit. Then I think I posted on Hacker News. That was also really popular. Then I believe that's it. As I told you, it just grew organically. I don't know, out of nowhere. Oh, Product Hunt, yes. Although it's totally not my audience, right? It's business owners, and my product is mostly consumer based. And it just grew organically. I don't know how. I actually have a couple universities that contacted me, and I created the account for them, and it's all for free, because I do a lot of charity work. A lot of people who ask me, "Hey, I need the access," but I'm like in a really bad position, because people, they're looking for a job. They're every dollar counts, right? So a lot of time I'm just, okay, don't worry about it, and I just give the free access. Again, the purpose of the app was never to make money, and I still don't make a lot of money. Maybe, I don't know, $200-300 after all expenses, and I still try to use that for charity. So because I'm really good, I'm set financially, so it's something that I contribute personally. So that's what it is.
How many users do you currently have, and has it been growing rapidly?
Yes, it's close to 90,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
You mentioned that this is based on Claude, correct? The model that you use for it?
I still use some parts, still using OpenAI, ChatGPT 4.0, I believe, because I usually compare when the new models come out, and I try to see if they're better or not, because sometimes they need some time to adjust. So yeah, I would say 70% cloud, 30% ChatGPT.
And so, how does pricing work? What is your pricing model?
You know what? I actually did 3 pricing. Before it was just 1, and then I did 3 because people were complaining a little bit. So I did $5 a month, and then I have $30 a year, which I still want to be super cheap, right? I want it to be affordable, because after all, people who are looking for a job, they most of the time they're unemployed, right? So I don't want to end up another bill. And then I have $100 for a lifetime, and I actually have a couple customers who purchased that. Which is surprising. And it's mostly for, of course, organization, right? Because they have a lot of people, a couple of nonprofits, they actually purchased it, and they use it to create the resumes for the people in need, basically.
Oh, that's really interesting. And how many, you mentioned you sort of recommend doing a resume suited to each job description. How many resumes do most of your users create?
Basically, on average, you never know, because some users, they do 10, and some users, they do 2. But the average, I would say 5, because I have about 5 times more resumes than the users. So I would average it to. I cannot see it. Honestly, all resume data is encrypted. I cannot go and see what's going on there. And I do see how many resumes user created, but I cannot see the content. So I'll say 5,000, yes. 5 per user.
This pricing model where you offer unlimited resumes and revisions for a fixed price, are you at any risk of outspending your token budget using your Claude and OpenAI APIs?
So what you're asking is, have I ever overspent on app?
Yeah, on inference from the AI features being used. You have a cost
Yes,
associated with
constantly.
that.
I think last 5-6 months, I did not. Usually it's like $100 or $200. Again, I have 90,000 users, but not all of them are paying users. I have some free users, and I have some people who I gave out access just for so. I have some organizations, right? They also have a lot of users and stuff like that. Again, as I said, this was never for profit. So I'm just happy, to open my email and just say, hey, thank you so much, I got the job. This actually makes my day. So as I said, a couple 5-6 months before I started charging, I actually paid out of my pocket. The highest I ever got was, I think, like $1,000 that I paid out, and now it's like three to $500 I make extra.
Okay. So what's next? Will you be adding new features to Resume from Space, or are you more likely to build different apps that take advantage of AI?
Honestly, I don't want it to be not anything more than it is right now, right? The one big feature that I'm working on is I want to create a job board, and it's a lot of them right now, I'll tell you. But what I want to have as a feature, I want to have an instant match. So basically, you open the job and you see an instant match of your resume to the job. So I think that's going to help a lot, because I was job hunting, and it's really exhausting. So I want to create something for people of a value that they can go in and see and say, okay, you know what, this is what I like, and I'm a good match, so let me apply.
What are you most excited about with what's coming on the horizon with artificial intelligence?
You know, just realizing that it's nothing more than a mathematically precision, how to say, autocorrect, right? Autocorrect on steroids. How the Linus Torvalds, the creator of Linux,
Mm-hmm.
he said that.
Yeah.
But aren't we all autocorrect on steroids, right? In some sort. So
Right.
it was actually really, really hard to me to understand. This is not a real person, although it answers like a real person. This is a mathematical formula, basically, that spits out the tokens, right? But still, I'm amazed. I use AI now for coding as well. I would say 50-50. So before, the tasks that took me weeks now take day, right? And I'm really, really happy for that. It's good and bad, because now we have a low level of entry point. Basically, a lot of bad code is going to happen. But I feel this is for us as a humanity, right? It's a point where you don't think about, for example, when you write a program, you don't think how transistors work, right? So this is another level of abstraction, right? Now you can think about bigger things, because you don't have to worry about the smaller things.
Well, this has been very interesting. Congratulations on the success of
Thank
Resume
you.
from Space. That's really a great story. Again, super cool name, and it's a really neat looking product. And it sounds like you've just done a great job with it. What's the best way for people to reach you and learn more about Resume from Space?
You can always reach out to me at support@resumefromspace.com. I'm the only one who manages this email account, so I will always see your letter.
All right, so people, that email will not be filtered out by the AI. That will actually get read by a human in the loop.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much for joining me. My guest today has been Dan Yan, creator of Resume from Space. If you need help making a banger resume for yourself, go check it out. If you're enjoying the podcast, please consider leaving a review on Apple Podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe and hit the like button. It really makes a difference. Thank you for listening to the AI Applications Podcast. I am your host, Greg Helmstetter. Until next time.